I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Very pleased to be back, second year in a row.
Yes, thank you.
Soulaima, Gourani, who is an advisor and author to governments around Europe. Now tell me, Europe is not doing so well. Tell me a little bit about your prognosis.
So the problem is that we will see the next 10 years Europe will really still be sick, like a sick patient, and we will see a few countries doing well, like the Scandinavian countries. But as Europe as such have big problems. Young unemployment, we have the rate is too high, we have a lot of women who are not empowered, we have a lack of innovation, we have lack of trust, people don't invest in Europe these days. It's a huge problem. So what we see now is that most brilliant people actually leave Europe. They leave for better opportunities around the world, like US or, yeah. So that's a big problem now.
Tell me about, you mentioned Scandinavia, but I'm interested in your thoughts on Denmark in particular.
Yeah, my country is like 5.2 million people, right? Mm-hmm. And our situation is that we are like a paradise, right? Everything is safe and green, mm-hmm. and you know, people like Denmark. And most people actually look up to Denmark, and I understand why. But if we look at the numbers, it's not that good, because we have like 1.2 million people working in the private sector, and that's good, mm-hmm. right? Then we have 800,000 in the public sector. So, you know, 800 to 1.2, right? And the rest of the population is not working. Think about it.
Right.
So the tax system is, you know, it's expensive to live mm-hmm. there and expensive in tax. But as a Dane, we're used to pay, and we pay our tax gladly, most mm-hmm. of us, because mm-hmm. we know that it's a security system as well. But what we see now is that the quality of, you know, education, healthcare system is not that good. Right. It was a report recently saying that if you get cancer, the survival rate, if you live in Mexico, is higher than Denmark.
Right.
And we were like on the bottom 5 in
mm-hmm.
Europe. Right? So I'm just saying we have challenges too, and we need a lot of reforms. And it's not easy to take things away from people. It's always easy to give people something. So we will see the next 5 years in Denmark. You know, we will see it's not going to be as stable as it is now.
Is part of it keeping young people in the country? Because I remember a very good friend of mine when I worked at UBS had come from Denmark. He wasn't married, was willing to make his way in the world. However, when he got married, had kids, further on in his career and had more money, he went back home. But if I just imagine all of the kind of the finances and the taxes he could have paid if he had been located in Denmark, which he loved much more than the UK, would have been a better solution for everybody.
Yeah, we want people to stay, but we can see that people are actually leaving, right? Because in Denmark, if you have high ambitions, we like that, and you're allowed to be good as long as you're not better than the other ones.
Right.
And I think most of us know the law of Jente, and it is present in Denmark. And it's for a good reason, you know. Life expectations in Denmark are quite low. We only want to have a house and a nice husband or wife mm-hmm. and a car. It makes people very happy. Don't forget that we are announced as the most happy nation in the world 4 years in a row. but when you look into the numbers again, you will find that we have the highest prescriptions of antidepressive medicine. So happy, yeah, but
also dark.
Yeah, also dark sides, and you know, we are that country in the world where most people are buried when they die. There comes no one to their funeral, right? And people are anxious. So yeah, it's not that glamorous, but we have hopes for the future of Denmark. But we have to put more effort in entrepreneurship, because most people we have the most well-educated public sector. Think about it. Mm-hmm. We pay like millions for education, and people go working for the public sector, and not for the private sector. So we have to take people away from the public sector, can growth further, and kind of, if it does, do that more effective and put them to the private sector. So we need to empower people and make them think that the private sector is good. Business is good. It's not the problem. It's actually part of the solution.
Soulaima, thank you so much for stopping into the Hub Culture.
Thank you very much.
I'm Edie Lush.